Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Shiksha Mahtani, aka Bollygirl, is an on-air TV host, radio jockey, and celebrity interviewer. She interviews guests for her own Bollywood Talk Radio Show called Bollywood Break, as well as hosts and interviews for Pinkvilla USA. She's well known for her Bolly Challenge dance videos on social media, where she dances like various Bollywood stars. Hello, Shiksha Mahtani, aka Bollygirl. I'm so happy to have you here on Impact Duty today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
And I'm dying to talk to you about various topics. You host your own show. You're a radio jockey, among other things. And what fascinates me most is your Bollywood challenges. So I can't wait to dive right in and ask you many questions. But first of all, what's been your fascination, or what's really been what got you attracted to Bollywood?
Well, as you know, I'm obsessed with Bollywood.
Totally.
I actually grew up in the United States, so I'm a total ABCD. But I grew up in a very traditional Indian household, and I think the credit goes to my parents and my grandparents for always keeping me rooted within my culture and helping me really love my Indian culture. And I've just always embraced it, and part of that included Bollywood. Also, it's just so fun, all the Bollywood music and stuff. It was just another way for me to relate to other people. So I don't know. It's just been there ever since I was a kid. The first movie I ever fell in love with was Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Really?
Yeah. Shah Rukh Khan is my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah. I've just always loved Bollywood. I don't really understand it myself.
Right. And you said you grew up in the US. You're still based in the US, right?
I am. Yes. I did live in India for 8 months, but I've grown up in the US.
All right. And is it easy to access Bollywood material, Bollywood movies? Do they show movies in cinemas over there where you are?
So that's an interesting question. When I was growing up, it was definitely harder. There were only the bigger movie releases would come out in theaters, but the smaller movies that would come out wouldn't be available. Even finding DVDs and CDs for music was very hard. I had an uncle who had a contact in India who would send him the stuff, and then I would ask him for it. So that's how I kind of got it as a kid. But now with Netflix and Prime and Hotstar and everything is now so easily available in the US, and more movies are being played in theaters. Of course, not right now because of COVID, yes. But outside of COVID, yeah, there have been a lot more movies being played.
Yes, for sure. And like you mentioned, the platforms are really taking off, especially during the pandemic. Have you watched anything that we should look out for on any of the platforms?
Recently, there's so many things coming out now, new shows and things. I think the last movie that I saw was The Big Bull, which was with Abhishek Bachchan, because that's the newest movie that I've seen as of now. Also because a lot of the new movies have been postponed recently.
Right.
So yeah, and that was a good movie. It was enjoyable, good time pass,
Exactly. And loosely based on a true story, I believe.
It was, yes. And Abhishek Bachchan acted really well in that movie. So if you like the stock market, I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, sadly, that was the last new movie I saw. There were supposed to be a bunch more, but they've all been postponed.
Yes. Right. You, as I mentioned, you are a radio jockey as well as hosting your own show. But I'm going to first take you to radio jockeying and ask you to tell us a little bit more.
So the radio show is the show that I host. It's called Bollywood. it's called Bollywood Break, and it's with Ruckus Avenue Radio. And basically, it's a talk show, but I also play music. So once a week, you can listen to me live talking about all the latest Bollywood news and playing all the new Bollywood songs. I do mix it up with some older stuff too. So it's just a really good time if you're a Bollywood fan.
Wonderful. And
and I also interview people for it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I interview different stars and stuff for the show as well.
As in locally within the US or globally?
Well, luckily, because of one of the good things that's come out of the lockdown is that people are more willing to do interviews via Zoom. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be in the US. I'm doing it over Zoom as well. So Wonderful. It's definitely opened up the options.
Yeah, and you mentioned, or I mentioned, hosting Bollywood Break and a segment for Pinkvilla USA. Yes.
Well, Pinkvilla has a new USA branch. So I am one of their hosts for the USA branch where I'm interviewing different Indian influencers. I think it's pretty cool because there hasn't been a very big spotlight on Indian influencers in the US, and there are so many. So this is a really great platform that I have joined with to highlight Indian influencers in the US. So I'm really excited about that one.
Wonderful. Any mentions on interviews that we should look out for that you've done recently for Pinkvilla?
For Pinkvilla, I recently did an interview with Joya Kazi, who is the choreographer and the lead dancer in the TV show Never Have I Ever by Mindy Kaling.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, so if you watch that show, you'll see that there's a small Bollywood dance for Nagada in the show. And so Joya was the lead dancer and she choreographed it. So I interviewed her for Pinkvilla. For my radio show, you can look out for an interview with Rajat Kapoor, who is the writer, director, producer, actor in a new movie called RKRK. And he's a Bollywood actor. So I'm really excited about that one.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shiksha. And you're fascinated by Bollywood, but you're not the only one that's fascinated or inspired by Bollywood. Desis in general, globally, have a fascination with the industry, but I think it traverses other cultures and lands. So personally, I've been to Egypt and I know there's a fascination for there with Bollywood. And where I grew up in Ghana, a lot of people watch Bollywood movies. And I recently went to Bulgaria, and like you said, Shah Rukh is loved over there. And I live in Switzerland and he's loved over here. So what's the fascination with Bollywood? What do you think is?
I think that it's definitely growing now, especially in the US. Now, I know that what you're saying is true. There is a fascination around the world. I've been to Latin America and people love it over there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And people all over the world seem to really love Bollywood, which is honestly really cool. But I haven't seen it to be that big in the US, I guess, unless you're an Indian. But recently, Bollywood is really growing. There's definitely more awareness for it. I think that having Indian influencers like Mindy Kaling, Lily Singh, there's so many, even like a Hannah Simone. I could name a bunch, but having these Indian influencers grow up in the ranks in the entertainment industry here in Hollywood is creating awareness for the Indian population and the Indian culture, even shows like Never Have I Ever. So that's kind of allowing people to kind of tune in and find what they like more about it. So that's where they're starting to discover Bollywood, I guess. Right. And they seem to love it. Also, Bollywood is so colorful and energetic and fun, and so why wouldn't you love it? It's just
exactly. I think it has all the right ingredients to make perfect entertainment.
Yes, and people do seem to love it all over the world, which is amazing. I love that. So
yeah, who are the popular actors over there within the industry? So you mentioned Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, I think that at least in the circles that I run, we're all 90s babies. So, you know, the Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol, Rani Mukherjee, basically movies from the 90s and early 2000s are
Right.
still so big over here. They're so big. The newer actors, I would say maybe like a Varun Dhawan, Alia Bhatt, only because they've been coming out in a lot of movies recently. The other actors, you'd have to really be tuned into Bollywood to know who they are, I think.
Right, right.
So yeah, but Amitabh Bachchan is obviously the biggest name around the world. Oh yeah, definitely still the biggest. Him and Shah Rukh Khan.
You're right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And Shiksha, you are a fabulous dancer. I've seen some of your dancing on social media, and you choreograph dance as well. But I'm going to ask you, who are your favorite choreographers? Yes, if you'd like to name a few, past and present.
Past and present. Oh God. You know, it's interesting because growing up, I actually didn't learn any Indian classical dance. So I learned ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, all the Western styles. And so when I was growing up, I was living in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was very far away from the more professional dance classes and stuff. So I would see the stuff online because YouTube was still only new, where people were dancing in Los Angeles and there were these professional classes and these professional choreographers. And I became obsessed, absolutely 100% obsessed. There was this one choreographer, his name was Dayan Tubik. I watched every single one of his videos, probably 100 times each. I learned the dances from his videos. There were no tutorials, nothing. I learned it. I filmed myself doing it. I just loved it so much. Then I came to LA and I got to know choreographer Dana Alexa, and she really helped me hone the skill because I had learned it as I learned hip hop and stuff as a kid, but she helped me really hone the skill, I guess. And yeah, so I think those have been some of my bigger real life influences. Whereas Bollywood is concerned, obviously Saroj Khan. I took a class from her and
really,
oh my God, I got to perform right in front of her.
Wow.
Literally right in front of her. Oh my God, it was amazing. I loved it. And her style is just so unique and beautiful and graceful that it just opened a whole new world for me. And then obviously I admire Farah Khan. She's such a great Bollywood choreographer. And Shamak Davar, I would love to train under him. I did his he has classes where his students teach classes in Mumbai.
I did one of those as well when I lived in India. Yeah.
So I did do that, and that was great. But then I went and saw a show where Shamak Davar, he performed. He had his dancers that he teaches, performs, and I was blown away. He's too good. So I love him.
And he stayed an influence over the decades. I mean, literally. He was key in the 1990s. Dil To Pagal Hai. I believe that was really, really what, took over Bollywood in terms of dance.
He just has a very unique style, and it's so beautiful. And when you see his performances, it's like, oh my God, wow.
It's so large.
I love it so much. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love the use of props. For some reason, he just uses so many props, and it's just almost magical.
And he teaches dancers from all walks of life. He doesn't hold back, and I think that that's so inspiring. Just that when I saw his show, there were all kinds of different people performing. I mean, he had to dance with people in wheelchairs and stuff. It was just phenomenal. Wow. So. Yeah.
So when the pandemic all ends, when it does, it eventually will, who would you like to work with? Who's your dream choreographer? Who would you like to get on the dance floor with?
Oh, man.
That's a hard one, isn't it? Because there's so many.
Oh man, I don't even know how to answer that. I would love.
Really?
I think the choreographers that I already mentioned, the Bollywood choreographers, I would love to learn from them. Even like a Prabhu Deva, he's such a great dancer and choreographer. Any of the Bollywood choreographers, I would be thrilled to work with and to perform with. I do those Bolly challenge videos, and it's just my way of performing with all the stars. And I think dancing alongside like a Deepika Padukone or Madhuri Dixit would just be a dream come true.
Oh, wow. And having dance videos or having dance within our Bollywood movies is rather unique to our industry or to the Bollywood industry. Do you think that will stay on? Do you think music within movies is something that will last in the next few years? Or do you think it's going to slowly phase out of movies as we see more movies coming onto Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these other platforms? Do you think dancing within Bollywood is a dying thing?
You know, that's an interesting question. I think that, you know, we've seen ups and downs with that. I think that a lot of there have been Bollywood movies that are more artistic and therefore don't have the singing and dancing. And now with streaming platforms, you're getting a lot more variety with content, which means that they don't always have singing and dancing. But I don't know. I think that Bollywood, part of what makes it so grand is the singing and dancing. And like, I know myself as an audience member, when there is no song or no dance, I am sad. I'm really upset about it. So I'm looking forward to it. I also think that it's a very unique form of marketing for the Bollywood industry, that they use the music to market the upcoming movie to get people to come and want to watch it. So I don't think that it's going to go anywhere. At least I hope not. I just think that it's too much. It's too strongly connected to Bollywood for it to go away. But I don't know. I do think the dance styles have been changing a lot, and that's good and bad. I think that a lot of the recent songs have been more westernized, and which is great. I mean, a lot of the Western songs, they're great. They're fun. They're interesting. But also the older songs, the more classic songs, classic dancing, you know, that really embraces the Indian culture and Indian dance styles. I miss that. We see a lot of that in Sanjay Leela Bansali's movies. Very Indian. So amazing, you know. Oh God, to work with him. So yeah, he holds on to traditional Indian looks and sets and dances, but we've lost a lot of that, and I really hope we get a lot of that back. So
Yeah, I hope so too. And what struck me right now as we were talking is a lot of the actors used to have their own trademark steps that were unique to them. And I wonder if the actors of today have that same essence. So, for example, a Jitendra would have his typical, you know, moves, and Amitabh has his. Totally, exactly. You know.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we have. We definitely have the caliber of dancers in Bollywood, but I wonder if they have their own trademark styles, if any of them do have their own trademark styles.
I haven't even thought about that. I don't think anymore. That's not the focus anymore. Right. What I've seen is that the focus is having a hook step with the new songs. So with most new songs, they'll have one main step that they repeat probably in the chorus again and again, because they want the audience to do that step when the song comes out. So like, you know, Kala Chashma, or well, I don't even know. There's a lot of different songs where you have like Tantana, you know, right? So that's the step. And then when you go to a club or you have a party, that's the step people are doing when that song comes out. So that's the hook step. And I think that that's currently the focus where filmmakers, when they make a song, that's what they're thinking about. So I don't really think the focus is on the actor having a step that they're known for.
Any video choreographed recently that blew your mind? That you were like, oh my God, this is fantastic?
Oh my God.
I'm really asking you tough questions today, aren't I?
You are. Oh man. Oh geez. Tough steps. I think Sanjay Leela Bansali's songs, I don't know about them being the most difficult steps. I think it's just the way, the execution of the steps,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
and the choreography in general. It's just so beautiful. It takes your breath away. So
Right.
definitely any of the songs from any of his latest movies.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, there was that song from War with Hrithik Roshan and Tiger Shroff where they dance
That's the
together.
one I had in mind.
Yeah, they're two of the best dancers in Bollywood, and it was the only time they've ever come together, so it was a huge deal. And I think the steps in that dance were pretty fun. I did a Bolly challenge video to that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for Holi, I did it recently, so you can see me dancing in between.
I better go check it out.
Yeah, you can see it. It's on Instagram and YouTube on my handles. But yeah, so I think either that song or any of the Sanjay Leela Bansali songs.
Wonderful. So that actually gets me to discuss what I love absolutely and how I discovered you, which are your Bollywood challenges. So I think the one I first came across was the one that you did where you dressed up as Shah Rukh. That just blew me away. Okay, so I don't remember the movie.
Was it
right. Uri Uri Jai. Was it the kite one, right? And you actually dressed up like Shah Rukh, right?
Yes.
That's when I was like, oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to take you to Bollywood challenges. Okay, and what fascinates me most, it's not just that you dance like the video, it's like you actually take on that role. Okay, so like I said, I've watched a couple. The Shah Rukh one totally struck me. But I'll let you tell me a little bit more about the Bollywood challenges. How did you come up with that idea?
मुझे कब था पता इसका तेरे प्रेम का एक तारा मन में यूं पल पल बाजेगा
मुझे कब थी खबर इसकी मेरे मन के सिंहासन पर तू सदा को यूं बिराजेगा
जाए उड़ी उड़ी जाए उड़ी उड़ी जाए की पतंग देखो उड़ी उड़ी जाए
ये जो पतंग है
Okay, so growing up, I always said I wanted to be a Bollywood actress. My parents didn't love that, but whenever I was in the back of a car, I would be acting it out and like singing along, but like in full force, you know? So I think that's just always kind of been inside of me to want to be a Bollywood actress or be like them. I would even when I was little, watching Kuch Kuch Hota Hai for the 100th time, I'd be acting out the scenes in front of the movie. So I think it's just kind of always been a part of it. And then the first one I did was, oh God, it was either Pinga or, I'm blanking. Anyway, but the first one or two that I did, I was just like, I just did it. I don't even know. I just did it. I just found clothes in my closet that kind of looked like what they were wearing. I put on the camera and I just did the steps. And then I didn't know how to edit really at the time. I've gotten much better now, but at the time I did it. So I just used an app and I tried to put the videos together. And if you were to go back and look at my oldest one, the editing is not the best, but you can see it side by side. And I remember just the reaction that I got was like, oh, wow, you actually did it. Like, nice. And then I was in college and there was that song Nagara Sang Dol with Deepika Padukone that came out. And I remember being in the theater with my college friends watching Ram Leela when it came out. And that song came out and it was such a big song at the time. And everybody's like, wow, look at how Deepika danced. I mean, she's just phenomenal. Like, look at her go. Wow, can you imagine? And the whole time I'm thinking, I bet I could do this dance. Like, I bet I could do it. You know, it looks like something I can handle. So I did it as my solo for my showcase because I started my own Bollywood dance team. So we had a showcase and I got a solo.
Right.
So I did that dance. And again, everybody was like, wow, you actually did it. Like, what? And I'm just like, yeah, I actually did it. Yes. Okay. So, and then it just kind of grew from there. I did a costume makeup class in college. So that taught me how to apply the facial hair and stuff that you'll see when I dress up as Shah Rukh.
Yes.
So it was just like a basic beginning course, but I've always been super into makeup. So I just kind of dove right in and I learned as much as I could about it. And so that's when I was like, this is crazy. My parents thought I was insane when they saw it. They're like, are you really doing this? I'm like, yeah, I just want to. I just think it'd be really fun. So I did it. It was on a whim. It wasn't planned to be on Instagram or anything. I just kind of wanted to do it. And then it came out okay. And I'm like, okay, I'll just post it, you know?
Oh, it came out more than okay. And the last one that I saw was the Nora Fateh. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right.
I think it's Nora Fatehi. I'm not 100% sure either.
But what I loved was that you actually showed us the behind the scenes of how you spent so long putting those shells in your hair and really copying the exact look that she had. I was like, wow, bravo. So how long did that take you to do?
Oh man, putting the shells in my hair took so long. I spent probably 4 or 5 hours just putting shells in my hair because it wouldn't stay. So most of the time when I do these dances, I just kind of wing it. I just wing it. I'm just like, I have a plan of what it's kind of gonna be, and then I just do it. So with the shells, I'd watched a YouTube video or two about how to put it in your hair. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I'll figure it out. It took so long. I had to use these little rubber bands to like hold it in my hair. I was so tired. And then I was like,
I can imagine.
Now I have to dance. And then my sister's like, well, then just don't do the dance today. And I'm like, I've put these shells in my hair. I'm doing this today. It's happening. I'm not wasting this. So,
Is your sister a dancer like you?
No.
No?
Oh, God, no. She is very much a behind the camera person. She filmed a lot of my stuff for a while. When I was doing my own choreo and stuff, she'd film those dances. But now for the Bolly challenge videos, she stays in her room and I do it by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned that you did 8 months, or you went for 8 months to Mumbai. What was that experience like for you, or what did that change for you in terms of perspective?
Staying in India was a very fun experience for me. I have always felt very Indian, and as an Indian growing up in the US, I know a lot of my cousins and stuff, they don't have that pull towards the Indian culture like I do. My sister definitely doesn't. It's pretty much just me. So I don't know, being in India, it was amazing. I felt at home. It was crazy. I stayed with my grandmother, so I had somewhere to stay, and I made friends so quickly. I was dancing every single day. I was just in my element. I was able, a lot of my family, like, they thought I wouldn't be able to handle it, you know, because I don't speak the language. So learning how to get around and stuff, they're like, oh, she's not gonna be able to do this. But I did. I was taking rickshaws and taxis by myself. I managed. It was amazing. And then also people talk about Bollywood all the time as if it's nothing. Like, there are references
it's part
to
of life.
Bollywood. I know, it's amazing.
And the funny thing is that you can actually bump into some of the Bollywood actors. I mean, if you're at the right time, right place at the right time, kind of thing.
Yeah, that did not happen to me. I didn't bump into anybody, sadly. I did go for the premiere of Judwa 2, so I did get to meet actors there. But I didn't like bump into anybody on the roads. But yeah, people just make references to Bollywood like it's nothing. And I'm just like, oh, that's so cool, you know, because in the US, I never get that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll draw you back to Bollywood Break, which I believe is the name of the show that you host.
Yes.
So how have you managed to carve a niche out for yourself? I mean, I do believe there are other of its kind online. So how have you been able to create a niche for yourself on social media?
Well, this is tough. So when I first started out on social media, I didn't even know how to make a presence for myself. But I had heard and read in a lot of places that you have to find your niche. And I
Right.
realized that my niche is anything and everything Indian and Bollywood. Just that is what I love. That is my passion. Obviously dance as well, but that falls into the Bollywood and Indian aspect. So that was my niche. I remember brainstorming with my mom and we came up with Bollygirl and we both loved it. So then it just kind of stuck. Whenever anybody says Bollygirl to me, I just love it. I love it so much. So yeah, it just kind of happened. I just realized that any and all of my interests could fall within the Bollywood Indian niche because I love
Right.
hair and I love makeup and I love dance and it all kind of just falls in. So I don't know. I guess I got a little lucky. It did just kind of work out in the end. A lot of brainstorming at the time, but it just made the most sense for me.
Totally. And I mean, you just basically put it in a nutshell, multi-talented, multi-skilled. You built up your skill, you built up your talent. So it was just putting together into this beautiful segments that you have on social media. And last but not least, Shiksha, what's next? What happens next for you? Or what are you going to do next? Any plans? Any dreams?
Lots of dreams. I think that that's what helps motivate anyone is to have dreams. But as of now, with COVID and everything being shut, it's really hard to know where I'm headed next. But I am open to opportunity. And whenever anything happens, I'll be talking about it on Instagram. So make sure to check me out there.
Totally. I'm going to ask you to give us your Instagram handles one more time before I say goodbye to you.
Sure. You can find me on any social media handle, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Tumblr, YouTube, Facebook. Everything is at I am Bollygirl. Just I am Bollygirl for everything.
Wonderful. Shiksha, it's been such a great pleasure speaking to you about a lovely and light topic. I think it was much needed in this heavy time right now, especially with the catastrophe that's hit India with the second wave right now. So I'm really glad and delighted that we've had a light and beautiful conversation today. I'm going to wish you a lot of success for your future, and let's stay in touch.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.
Take care.
You too.